morning, and welcome to sunny Winnipeg. Well, partially cloudy and sunny. The sun's shining on the house across the street, so I guess it's sunny. Now, we got to talk about the sunrise this morning. I've been up since about 5:30, and I was watching in my monitor periodically as the scene went from black and white, in other words, night vision, and color came out, and I thought, hey, this might make a really nice time lapse, because pretty much every time I looked at it, like even right now, it's not that bad. It's over though. We're getting a little later start than we did yesterday. So I'm probably going to stick it in some sort of time lapse and put it at the end of today's episode. No more about the sunrise. Now, it turned out to be a beautiful afternoon yesterday. And I was out on both the scooter and the e-bike for, I'm guessing, a total of going on 3 hours. I'm just trying to squeeze in those last few minutes. Anyway, did nothing on this. Sorry. This has got to be, the third or fourth day now I've been working on these things? Let's get them done today if we can. I think I'm going to do one more off camera. Like this is number 2, if you remember. Number 1 got bent too many times and the metal fatigue set in, so I can't use that anymore. So I'm going to practice on number 3 and number 4. What I'm planning to do, and things don't always go as planned, as you know. I'm going to try and video how I did it on camera. Well, I guess if I'm videoing it, it's obviously on camera, right? Okay, so just in case there is somebody who is also doing the Iowa, and they're not quite sure how to bend this thing up and glue it up. So I'll try and show you how I did it, and there's undoubtedly better ways. And what you can maybe do is modify my way. It's going to work better. At least that's the plan. So I'm going to push stop here. I don't think there's anything else that I want to talk about. Let's get at it. Okay, so here is what's happened. Besides, over 2 hours has passed. A little while ago I thought, I want to improve on the ramp that's coming up into the house that I run the scooter up on. And so I thought, well, I may as well do it right, and I'll make something heavy duty and a lot longer and a lot wider. And so I'm thinking, okay, I'll run to the lumber store and get some 3/4 inch plywood flooring and sort of lap them over so that you're going to end up with a board 4 feet wide and maybe 15 feet long, and that will the slope won't be so bad and so steep. And anyway, enough about that. So you can probably see on the top of my car there's a roof rack, right? Well, that's almost useless for carrying plywood. It's fairly strong, but it's just shaped all wrong. So I made a jig that fastens onto that's specifically designed for carrying plywood. And I was out there and I was getting ready to fasten it all on, and I'm looking at the clouds and I'm thinking it kind of looks like it's going to rain. So when I check the weather, there's 60% of chance of rain today. I didn't know about that. So I'm thinking, okay, there's no big rush for this ramp. I can keep doing it the way I'm doing it, and there'll be more nice days this year, I hope, before the snow comes. And so I come back into the house here, and I'm starting to bend gangway number 3, and I look at the one that I did yesterday that I knew was right, and I must have been looking at it wrong, because don't you know, I went and I bent number 3 here the wrong way as well. It's the right way now. But when I straightened it out, once again, the treads were starting to break loose. They just couldn't stand to being bent 90 degrees one way and then 90 degrees back. Well, I guess it would be more than that. It'd be 90 degrees one way and then 180 degrees back. Anyway, so now I've got, whoops, I almost got a mess to clean up. Okay, now, so that means there's only number 4 left. And if I'm going to be videoing number 4, I guess I'm going to have to be very, very careful. I'm not being very careful. Should I reshoot this? I'm feeling kind of, when I almost knocked that over, it threw me for a loop here. Okay, I'm going to recompose, and we will try and bend. Oh, and then I forgot to mention, when I was going to go and bend number 3, I couldn't find it. I couldn't find number 3 or number 4, and I'm looking all over the place. And I even checked the D sheet just in case it was on there. And I thought, well, I'm sure I saw it laying in the bottom of a tin. And I thought, well, where's the tin? Where's the tin? Did I throw it back in the plastic bag with all the empties? Or no, I wouldn't do that. And then I remembered I'd put it on a shelf that was behind me. But I wasted probably 10 minutes. I'm moving stuff. I'm looking under my manual. I was sure it was here on the model table. Anyway, comedy of errors. Well, at least I didn't spill my coffee. Okay, let's recompose here, and I'll do my best to show how I did it. No promises. Oh, by the way, the sunrise was interesting. We will have it time-lapsed at the end of today's episode. And, there's something else I'll mention. Actually, the sunrise is going to be sort of a double header. One of the viewers mentioned about a comet. And I could be wrong, but I think maybe I caught it. Well, we'll talk about that when I do the time-lapse. So maybe instead of playing music, I'll flap my lips. Or maybe both. Anyway, let's get at it here. Now, a little while ago, our friend Merv came by with some more tomatoes and cucumbers. And UK Jason, just in case you're watching here, I chose the smaller ones, okay? All right, now let's bend these the right way this time. Maybe I'll just sort of recompose here. Now I can either bend it 90 degrees this way or 90 degrees the other way. And I did it wrong the last time. Okay, now I think what was happening was, okay, so I know that this one is right. So let's just make sure I've got the same stuff going on here as I did before. Now this piece right here that I'm touching is this piece right here. So I've got it. So that means I've got to bend the treads down in relation to the stringer. So if I grab it like this, you know what? I'm just going to recompose here. We've seen the tomatoes now. I've showed them off. So, oh, by the way, I don't know if I mentioned it, but when Merv was leaving, I said, don't get wet, because it was just starting to rain, and right now everything is soaked outside. So I'd have been coming back from the lumber store with soggy plywood. So I'm glad I decided not to go. Okay, let's try this again here. Now, once again, this piece here is, do you know what? I almost bent it wrong again. I almost did it wrong. Why am I having a problem understanding this here. Okay, this is this corner right here is this corner right here. Okay, now I'm just double checked here. I know I should be using Andy's photo etch bender, shouldn't I? Okay, now let's double check. We want to bend this down so it matches this. So, you know, if I do it wrong again, I'm gonna give up. Okay, I'm not gonna go all the way around 90 degrees, and there's a reason for that. I've discovered that, although that's not gonna work. When I was doing it before and I had these at 90 degrees, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go 90 degrees because I thought that it would enable me to get these little hinges in the holes better, but actually it makes it worse. So let's just go around the rest of the way here. Okay, now then this one should go up like this, very carefully here. Am I holding it so you can see it? I know the macro lens would be better, but it's too hard to do something like this in front of the macro lens unless what you're doing is clamped down. Okay, now this should just go up like this. It should be all right. All right, that looks good. Now, what we are going to do, just turn this very carefully. Maybe I'll have better control with these. Like this. Oh, somebody was telling me that I fastened this piece to the K9 in the wrong place. So we're going to have to look into that. All right, now this piece right here, I'm just trying to grab hold of. See if I can hold it so you can see it. Okay, this little part right here, it has to be bent 90 degrees to match up with this one right here. Okay, just let me pause here for a moment. Okay, I've got the camera in front of me now, and the reason being is because when the camera was sitting over here and looking in this way, I was having too much trouble keeping my right hand out of the field of view, whereas this way you can probably see a lot better that I have, well rearranging everything, broken our wishbone off of right here. So I'll have to glue that back on. Well, that's not the end of the world. It will be, though, if this keeps happening. Okay, let's just carefully put this over here. I want to keep this in sight here so I can use it as reference. And I don't need to keep checking the manual. Because, as I keep saying, we know that this one is correct. All right, now I found that it was easiest to put the lower platform on first and then the upper one. Now the upper one, it's hard to get the hinge part, like these little hinge pieces here, into the holes. That is takes a lot of fiddling. And okay, so now what we're going to need to do is bend this. See if I can just very carefully here get this like this. Okay, now let's get this the right way. I think that's the right way. No, this do not tell me I bent this one wrong too. Please don't tell me I bent this one wrong. Okay, this goes like that. That's the top. No, this right here has to go like that. Now to get the bottom platform in place, we don't bend this first section. We only bend the last section. And I found that it's easier to grab it like this and just bend this down 90 degrees, something like that. Now, what I next found was the next easiest thing was let's get the platform that goes on the bottom. This goes on the top. So I'll put this here. Now, bottom platform. Oh, you know what? I didn't clean the... okay, gotta take a minute out here and clean the flashing off of this. Okay, I was just noticing that there is a patch of bare pavement showing on the street. So that means that maybe I will get out on my 2 wheels this afternoon, all being well. Now, I think for this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the macro lens on because it's pretty hard to see otherwise. Yeah, I'll put the macro lens on and then I'll explain. Maybe, yeah, I guess I could do it on Andy's bender here. That's a good spot. Okay, now this is the lower platform. And you can see where there's a little notch right there and a little notch right here. And what is supposed to happen is the bottom of the stringer is supposed to fit. See if I can get this just right here now, steady myself. The bottom of the stringer is supposed to go right into those notches, and the railing is supposed to go around the outside top portion of the platform like this. Now, the way I did the other one was I put some CA. Let me see now, how can I do this so that we can all see it? Okay, I'm trying to get a little bit of CA on my applicator now. And I'm going to try and put a little on here. And a little on here. And then around the bottom. Just make it a little bit moist. Okay, now that might be enough to get it to stick, so that when I hope I'm not moving it out of your field of view there. I'm not watching the monitor, so I might be editing this and just shaking my head in disgust. Okay, now let's try and get the angle just right here. Get this down into place. That's almost it. Gotta try and, try and move this whole thing like that. Okay, that is pretty good, I think. Yeah, that's pretty good, I think. You can actually see it way better than I can. But I think I've got it there. What's that stuck on the bottom? Oh, that's where a push-out pin was. Okay. Guess I should have filed that off, shouldn't I? Oh well, we're not going to see it from the bottom anyway. Now, I think that's going to stick there like that. If I can let go of it without it breaking off. We'll let that cure now, and then I'm going to, come along and reinforce it. See, like, no, I'm pushing it off. Pushing it off. Okay. It flipped back on. Maybe what I should do is have this upside down. We're going to let gravity be our friend here until that cures. Now, I don't know if there's ever what you might call a good time to bend the treads. I'm thinking that if I glue this other upper platform on, it could be I'll break it loose when I'm trying to bend the tread. So maybe what I'll try to do is bend them now. And I know some people like to start at the top and work their way down. Oh, and by the way, what I'm going to try to do is bend them so that they will be 90 degrees to this angle right here. Other people say, no, you start at the bottom and work your way up. But I found that either way, you risk having a problem. You either have a problem one way or the other way. It's kind of hard to describe, but this works good for me. Now, I could have started at the bottom and worked my way up. But just want to be careful I don't grab two at the same time. And also I want to make sure I don't press down too hard right here. Two more to go. One more to go. Okay, they may not be at a perfect 90 degrees, you know, to these vertical pieces, but they're pretty close. Yeah, they're pretty close. Okay, now let's quit playing with it here. Let's see if we can get the upper piece on, and then we'll put the those little pieces that go this way. Okay, now what I have to try to do is get these little hinge pins to go through these two holes. You can just barely see them there. And before I do that, I have to take this part here and bend it up 90 degrees, because this piece that I'm touching right here of it actually goes out this way along the side of the platform. And this job is almost the sort of thing I have to try and maybe do off camera, because it's too easy to get it wrong, or when you're trying to hold it at a certain angle. It's best to hold it, in other words, it's best to hold it perfectly for my eyes. So I'm just going to go ahead and try and get this in place now. And first of all, we got to bend this at 90 degrees. And I'm going to just do that off camera. I don't want to screw this up. This is the only one I've got left. Okay, I've got it. It is hinged in place. The pins are in the right spot. But this piece of railing has got to be bent over without accidentally pulling the hinges apart. So this is to come over this way. And it also has to go up about 1/4 of a millimeter. Well, maybe not. Just let me swing this around here. Maybe if I use the blunt end of my stick here. Okay, is it catching? I don't want it to catch. If it catches when I'm pushing, I'll break the hinges loose. That is almost... Okay, when it springs back, I want it to be in just the right place. And that is it right there. That is it right there. Okay, let's CA everything in place. Okay, I'll get the other hinge later. Let's just let that cure. It's not cured yet, Captain. Okay, I have CA'd the other hinge now. And a moment ago I was looking out at the street, and that dry spot that we had, it's wet again. Now, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, get a copy visitor. So what do we got here? He's going to be here in 1 hour and 1 minute. He's very punctual. Okay. Thanks for watching, everybody. And all being well, we'll see you tomorrow. And all being well, we will finish this. That'll be what, day 4 for it? Okay. So earlier this morning, when I finally got around to checking my comments, I got a comment from Atacoke and Chris, and he was mentioning something to the effect of, you might be able to see Comet Nishimura in the surveillance camera. And so I thought, not too likely, but the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, I'll give it a try. So I rolled the camera back into the, way into the early part of the morning when it was still in night vision mode. And sure enough, I saw something appear and rise up in the sky. Now, it could have been a really, really bright planet, but I don't think so. It's possible that is the comet. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure the angle that it is in relation to Winnipeg here, and just see what do the stargazing people say the angle should have been for Winnipeg at that particular time. And I haven't done it yet, and I don't know if I'm actually going to be able to do it. But I'm going to give it a whirl. So, yeah, thanks for the heads up on that, Chris. It could be that's it. Anyway, let's get into the actual sunrise here and enjoy.